It was good, y'all. Peace. Um, I wanted to talk about the Earth a little bit since the Earth is changing and shit like that. Kind of want to get into, you know, how the Earth even came into existence. Kind of walk through some history of what beings have walked this motherfucking realm and shit. All right, and see if we get to the point of where we at now and shit like that. Maybe give some predictions for the future. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. So, right, I've explained this before. From the beginning, it's source, right? Everything comes from source, right? Some cultures call that Tiamat. Okay, so Tiamat was once space and the earth together inside the fucking ether, which is the primordial chaos, the primordial sea, right? That's why Tiamat's always a serpent. Okay? Right? So, when these vibrations happen within the ether, creating the motherfucking realms and separating them, right? What fucking happened is what they describe, the ancients, as fucking Tiamat splitting into two. The earth and fucking space, okay? And the Egyptians do the same thing with Mount Neter, and there's a lot of examples of that same duality, which people separate space and earth and call it two different entities that was once one, okay? And the planet Tiamat, Earth, back then, had different life than it does now. Okay, it didn't have the trees and the vegetation and shit that it has now. Okay, and the waters of the earth were actually inside. Okay, so there's a lot more land and shit like that. Okay, and it was a little smaller. Okay, because before that collision with the other planet, it was a little bit smaller. Okay, right, so that's where the mantis people come from. Okay, and people perceive them as mantises just because we're vibrating at this density and level that we're vibrating at now. Okay, so if you was to perceive them as like their highest form before their fucking light and consciousness, they would look like fucking like fairies or fucking angels or some shit like that, and not biblically accurate angels. Okay, I'm talking about, the pictures that they give of these things. Okay, which fucking ultimately ended up rising in frequency and consciousness, okay, and ultimately ended up seeding a lot of motherfucking planets and helped guide a lot of consciousness through the motherfucking these planes of existence and helped a lot of beings rise, okay? But we perceive them as motherfucking insects when people are channeling these fucking beings, okay? Or when people get motherfucking kidnapped by the grays, and then it's always a fucking mantis that's leading them, okay? And a lot of that shit has to do with fucking giving people their upgrades and their downloads and shit like that, and helping people fucking unlock certain shit in their DNA. And I don't want to say if it's for good or bad, because I think it's more like a fucking test. Okay, it's like a test subject, and they're just rolling with shit, and then just doing shit, and then like seeing what happens, and like taking motherfucking notes, and like just letting this shit play out for what it is, right? Because you can only put your hands so far until you have to face your karma, shit like that, which every decision is, but you know what I mean. You know how bad it gets, how intense it gets, because there's levels to this shit. Okay, that's what existence is all about. It's just about choices. Okay, you gotta choose to do what you perceive as good or choose to do what you perceive as bad, and then face your karma, dharma, based off that motherfucking spectrum that exists within you, okay, because you know what's good or bad. You feel it. Okay? So, the earth. The mantises, when they motherfucking transcended their fucking bodies, they, over time, some of their bodies got petrified. And that's what we're calling motherfucking like stones and mountains and motherfucking gemstones and motherfucking crystals and a bunch of shit That shit is what they call fallen angels or Nephilim and all that shit. That's what that shit is. Okay? So a lot of the shit that I'm wearing is these motherfuckers. Okay? And it's the same thing as wearing motherfucking reptile skin. Okay? Wearing some motherfucking, alligator shit. Right? Because you rubbing it in. I guess another motherfucker wearing his ancestor the way he's treated your ancestor. You see what I'm saying? Okay? And they understand the sublime motherfucking shit I'm saying. The subliminals. Okay? Anyway. The dinosaurs and the shits in the ocean, the shit they calling dinosaurs and those motherfucking things, right, that they got fossilized, okay? Those things that they're calling dinosaurs and shit like that is really motherfucking parasites from inside giants. Okay? So this realm was different, and then these parasites came and they ate a lot of the fucking life that already existed on this fucking planet. Okay? And these parasites, right, the shits that they calling motherfucking megalodon, and they calling the fucking the mud fossils, and they call these motherfucking krakens, and all these things are parasites from these motherfucking giants, okay, that motherfucking they died, and it just came out because they were living. Alright, they're still living. They found new hosts. You see what I mean? There's parasites, right, that are from other fucking planets that when they go into your fucking system, they go straight to your brainstem and control your whole fucking functions, okay? That's what the reptilians use. That type of technology too. Because nothing's new under the sun. And they get their fucking inventions from nature. Okay? So that's how that shit works. Alright? So them fossils and shit that you see, that they making up a lot of them shits anyway, but the real shits that they find, those big giant shits, you know what I mean? That shit, motherfucking parasites from the fucking Nephilims. Okay? If you want to call them that. Which actually the Nephilims are the fucking, from the giants and the Anunnakis who came and then bred with humans, those are actually the Nephilim, those giants. Okay, so there's a distinction between the different giants that fucking existed. Okay, because the Earth's atmosphere was different. Okay, it used to be 33% oxygen. Okay, so the sky was a fucking different blue. Okay, it was a little fucking darker, but like brighter. Okay, and motherfucking everything grew motherfucking bigger. Okay, because there's more oxygen shit for their lungs to breathe in more. Okay, so even a being like you, if you was around right now and it was 33% oxygen, you would fucking be able to run faster, run all day because there's more oxygen going into your lungs and shit. Okay? And that's part of the shit they did to us too, and how they genetically bred us. Okay? Because if we wasn't bred a certain way and we could fuck with our genetics and shit, then we could fuck with the atmosphere and change shit. Okay? And we could unlock different parts of our DNA and shit. Okay? If we didn't need oxygen. But that's a biological function of how the earth works now. Okay? Through the mycelium networks that were fucking made by the mantises. Okay? To help fucking change this whole shit up. Alright? Because they like seeding motherfucking planets and changing shit up and testing shit out. They've been doing it for a long motherfucking time. They've been doing it for the Lyrans. They did it for the Pleiadians. They did it for a lot of motherfucking places. Okay? So, the fucking reptilians, their ancestors are the fucking dinosaurs and those fucking beings. Okay, so their fucking ancestors are the parasites that came from the motherfucking original mantises fucking bodies that fucking got petrified over time and died and shit when they fucking left their suits. Okay, as a collective motherfucking conscious. Okay? And then once they vibrated out this shit, that shit happened. Okay? So the reptilians, they fucking evolved from those fucking parasites. Okay? And then when Thea was going to collide with Tiamat, they packed it up and left. And they went to Alpha Centauri. They went to Alpha Draco. Okay? And they went to Lyra. Okay? They went to different star systems and they did different things. Okay? And they eventually, over time, at Alpha Draco, they made a civilization there now to the point where they feel like they're the fucking top dogs and they're the motherfucking most evolved top beings and shit like that. And then they consider the reptilians that's here like a subservient motherfucking race to them. Okay? And all they do is their dirty work and they treat them like lower class beings. And the ones that are in charge here, right? So they have it decent here, but they get treated like shit when they communicate with the people that's in charge from them. That they're channeling the messages to fucking Alpha Draco and Alpha Centauri and all this shit. And then they kidnap certain fucking aliens so that they could open fucking portals for them and shit. So that they could communicate with other fucking consciousnesses and shit. Okay? Because the reptilians and the other fucking races that are working together to do shit, that's how they conquer different motherfucking realms of existence and shit. Okay, and they go through humans now because we're the new shit that's evolving on the earth and people are fucking interested in that shit. So they got attention on us right now because the earth is about to rise in frequency. Okay, and some of these beings are outside space and time. Okay, so they know all the possibilities of what could happen, so they're interested in what's going to happen. Okay, and when you're outside space and fucking time, you could be here in any fucking instant. Okay, so they could be here now, they could be here in a year, they could be here there, and they could be here in all these motherfucking instants to see what's gonna happen. But you can't fucking, even if you know every possibility, you don't know what's gonna happen. So they're waiting. Okay? They're waiting. And there's a bunch of motherfucking beings waiting to see what's going on here. Okay? There's a lot of history they're not telling us. Okay? Because they flooded and they've ice aged and they've used they've used laser and plasma weapons to fucking destroy the earth many times. Okay? To restart and go inside the earth and go underwater, right, with civilizations and fucking survive these events, okay, so that they could restart on the surface, okay. And we've just gotten to the point now that they got underwater domes now where they could do this shit over there, and they got shit already in the inner workings in the inner world. They've been running that, okay. That's part of fucking shit they took over time, okay. We're coming into a time now where they're gonna end up, a lot of them going back inside. And then other people are going to try and get on spaceships and go to Mars and do all this shit and leave. Okay? But right now, no one can do any space traveling. Okay? And the reason they can't do any space traveling is because the sun is in solar maximum. So all these solar fucking flares and CMEs and this fucking space weather isn't going to allow for people to travel in space. Okay, you're gonna get fried up. Okay, that shit they don't want to talk about. All right, and the atmosphere isn't going to protect them. Okay, because technically no one's been to space before because we're all in the same atmosphere: the sun, the moon, and the earth. Okay. They call it the heliosphere, then they say it's like the magnetosphere, and like all these spheres that fucking we're connected into the motherfucking, all these, the sun, the moon, and the earth are all connected in the same atmosphere. Okay? So dudes aren't out there fucking space traveling, and right now they're definitely not spacewalking. And if that ISS is where they say it is, they're cooked already. They're cooked. Especially with the new radiation belt. Cooked. But you know, it's fun. It's fun to think about and entertain the fucking ideas that we could go into space and do all these things. It's cool, you know, but it's based off these faulty perceptions, okay? Because our ancestors, actually, up until the early 1900s, people did not perceive space outside of the Milky Way, okay? And then they gave us this faulty perception of fucking light speed, okay? So, light speeding through the motherfucking universe and shit, and it doesn't do that. That's not how light works, okay? Light is just an induction of the fucking medium, so it doesn't travel, okay? The fields are connected from space to fucking Earth. We're all connected in this fucking field. All you're measuring is the disturbance within the fucking field, okay? The light was there and the light is here, and it shared the same fucking field, okay? So there ain't nothing traveling, okay? You're measuring the luminosity, okay? And you're measuring the luminosity based off this fucking speed that it disturbs the fucking medium, okay? And that shit being a constant is already proved in 1925 Michelson-Yale-Pearson experiment, okay? So light speed isn't even constant, okay? And then they're gonna tell you light travels, okay? They're gonna say, oh, light speed and light travels, Maxwell's equations. Maxwell, you look up some of James Maxwell's quotes. He does not believe in the shit that they're teaching now with the atomism and these particles and the quantum physics and the relativity. He would not believe in none of that shit, okay? Einstein had a picture of Maxwell in his office, okay? Because Maxwell is that motherfucker, okay? Einstein's not, okay? Let's get that straight, okay? As far as knowledge and science and shit and pioneering these fucking thoughts, okay? And his quotes speak fucking volumes to what people are going to say. Oh, these people believe. Just read what the fuck he said, okay? And then read his works and see what the fuck he's talking about, where fucking what light is, how it propagates, and what exactly is that speed of light. Like, what is that? What is he measuring, okay? So they're gonna tell you light has a speed, okay? So this is what I want you to ask them. How does light slow down when it enters a glass and then speeds up after exiting the glass without breaking the laws of conservation of energy? How does the light speed up after being slowed down? Where does it get this extra energy to speed up? It's because it's just a field. And all that changed was this medium. Outside that medium, different medium. Okay? They're gonna say, oh, the light sped up with these virtual fucking photons and shit that don't even exist, y'all. Seriously. This is the shit they're gonna feed people. Alright? And then, I was having this conversation the other day, and this person didn't even understand this shit. And I gave it to them right there, and they didn't even acknowledge it. They gave me a picture. Okay? They said electrons have mass, and they gave me this whole motherfucking lecture and shit. And I was like, if an electron has mass, right? If you add 5k volts and 5k amps into a wire, does it get heavier? They're gonna say no, because the answer is it actually gets lighter. So if an electron has mass and you're adding mass into the fucking wire, how does it weigh less? It's anti-mass? Like, bro, get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's like, oh, you're just spilling bullshit. And it's like, no. Dudes like Tesla and fucking Dollard and fucking Steinmetz and fucking Heaviside and Maxwell Faraday, all these dudes, even J.J. Thomson, the discoverer of the electron, knew electrons don't exist. He said 1 electron equals 1 unit of dielectric acceleration. Okay? So electron, now they try to say, oh, electron's a field, it's not even a particle, and then they describe electrons going into a motherfucking black hole, or electrons traveling in a wire, like I thought it's a field. Now it's these particles traveling through a wire? When it's like, no, that's not what it is at all, okay? Electrons don't have mass, electrons don't exist, okay? All the greats said it. Electrons don't exist, okay? Then they're going to say it's a field. Then they're going to say the one electron theory that every time they measured an electron, it's like the same property. It's like the same dude, every time. So it's like there's just one electron. It's a field. It's all fields, okay? And they turn field theory into particles, okay? And that's why particle physics is broken, okay? They got a particle for everything, and they want to make everything a damn particle. They talk about these gluons and these things that are fucking basically electricity, right? And color charged particles, and their fucking energy at the low. So once you get lower enough, now they're just fucking energy. They're not even things anyway. And you trying to tell them, look, like the quantum is this energy, like it's not even like a physical thing. And they're like, no, quantum entanglement, like the particles, you're attached to a particle at the end of the universe, like with a fucking string, and like you could pull it and then you can fucking travel the universe. Like, no, that's not how it goes. And that's literally what they're trying to feed people. And then they want you to materialize everything. Then you can't explain concept of like intelligent design to a motherfucker, because he's gonna want something right here, like you could physically touch. And it's like, bro, physically show me some energy. Physically show me a field. Physically show me some love. Physically, like, there's things that you can't physically show people, okay? And that's where everything manifests from, is these literal quantums, okay? And the word quantum now just means material or physical. And it's literally made this shit terrible, okay? And science has been fucked up for a while with all the racism and all the crazy fucking shit, okay? But we're taking what's fucking good and we're taking the knowledge, okay? And fuck them. Fuck them. Let them believe whatever the fuck they want. Just let them keep discovering shit. Because we're going to take that shit right to the bank, right here, okay? And we're going to build with that shit. And they're going to be stuck thinking everything's a motherfucking particle and that they're an ape. Because they're fucking genetically bred with Neanderthals. So your history is fucking, you are apes, bro. Cool. So, but you can't tell me what my ancestors is in our history. Can't tell us that shit. You see what I mean? And that's what makes them mad. And then the ones working with the ones, they just here to do what they have to do so that they can keep the positions they're in. Okay? And then those ones, they gonna face their karma, because they doing the whole immortality fucking shit. That's why we got immortal DNA. Okay? That comes from them. Right? Because crocodiles don't motherfucking die. Okay? These motherfuckers don't fucking die. Okay? That's why they've been around so long. That's the Hollywood shit. How these motherfuckers look like they've been around since the old times. And it look like they're using the same suits. It's just different archetypes and shit like that. Or it's like the same fucking archetype. They just downloading souls into shit. That's what the fuck that is. These motherfuckers be living for mad fucking long still. Okay? And that's because they have more reptilian fucking DNA. So even though they drop the oxygen here, they could still live to like 1,000 fucking years old or some shit like that. They'll be good, alright? And some of those motherfuckers that's already out this planet and shit, those motherfuckers don't die. They've been around since all of this shit was happening with Tiamat and all this shit. When they fucking left and they came back, there's still motherfuckers alive that could talk about that shit, alright? A lot of that shit is hidden, okay? And they wouldn't dare leave that shit here, okay, so that we can know, alright? And whatever's left that's here, they got underwater, alright? The Vatican ain't even shit compared to what's underwater. They got whole cities of information worth of shit, okay? Because there's cities under the water, alright? And not all the water, because under the oceans are more oceans, okay? And there's no oceans, there's seas. Water, water, water. And then the spots there's land. That used to be here before they flooded this shit. So there's cultures that have history that we don't even know about. And that shit that they want to talk about, that is Atlantis and all that shit that's in Bermuda, right? In the Bermuda Triangle and shit like that. There's a bunch of shit underwater. Alright? And that also has to do with the mermaids and all that shit and all the fucking, the Leviathan and all that shit, okay? There's aliens under the water, there's fucking civilizations under the water, there's fucking underground cables under the water, there's fucking tunnels under the water, okay? That's how they fucking travel from country to country, is in these fucking tunnels. They call them DUMBs, deep underground military bases. Okay, and there's ones for elites to travel through, and there's military ones. Okay, and there's ships that go under the ocean where you could travel to China mad quick in a few hours, because they got vehicles that are mad fast. Okay, they got the fucking trains that run with magnetics and shit. They got other vehicles that operate in different ways that they don't give out to the public yet. Okay, that's how they test shit. They let celebrities use these fucking tunnels, and they give them technology that people haven't fucking got yet, and that's like their way of testing them out. So they're like motherfucking guinea pigs in a way, and shit like that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there, because a lot of these celebrities are actually clones and shit that they made in a motherfucking lab. Alright, and that has to do with the fucking incubator babies that were in the early 1900s with the Chicago's World Fair and all those world fairs and shit like that. Because they've been breeding people, okay, for thousands of years, and they're just fucking with the technology and shit like that, keep repeating the cycles. So a lot of those celebrities and shit, they were all born in labs and shit like that. And they even got news reports on shit like that, okay? But I'm gonna leave it off for there. I hope y'all enjoy y'all day, y'all night. It's a beautiful night here. Peace, y'all.